Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. I got a good friend here, Noah Herrin from the great metropolis of Cleveland, Tennessee. No, not Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
I said Tennessee.
Tennessee.
And we're excited. We're actually at Leadership Conference here in Oklahoma City, and we actually did a session earlier today on social media, and we wanted to shoot this again because I wanted everyone, and I wanted to hear more about his process with social media, how to use it within your church, your ministry, how to get people involved, how to build teams. And I think that a lot of churches are missing this aspect, especially when it comes to youth ministry and how you can involve, and even how simple I think it can be. Obviously Noah's doing some awesome stuff, and he's next level. He's got like his custom presets, and if you don't know what that is, don't even worry about it, because I don't either really. I like. Is that like the filters
Nobody
on
knows.
Instagram?
It's like a filter.
Don't.
I don't know.
When you said it earlier, I was like, when you said like filter, I was like, but not the ones on Instagram. Don't use those.
Don't use Walden. That was good in like 2012.
No, it was
Walden
Valencia.
was my filter. Oh, Valencia. That was
Everybody.
the best one. Valencia. If you weren't on Valencia, you weren't on Instagram, really.
Oh, but okay. So talk about a little bit about maybe a little bit about your background.
Yeah.
What you're doing now, kind of your ministry, and then let's just talk about practically how you've kind of in the last however long you've kind of implemented it. How you started. I think I want people to hear how you started.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people see, for you, I see your Instagram, Twitter. You got tens of thousands of followers, right? It's like, gosh, that's either took a long time, money, got lucky, whatever.
Yeah.
And people get intimidated, like, I can never do that. I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
But I think the reality is that you just got to start. You got to be consistent, come up with a plan. So why don't you jump in?
Sure.
And then we can kind of go from there.
So for me, social media, like I kind of got into it on accident. It started with photos, actually, about 3 years ago. I was friends with some guys who loved to hike, and I would always have my camera on me. Started taking pictures on top of these mountains, and editing the photos with Valencia and Walden filters, and I would post them, and I got to this place where like everybody that I followed was posting photos on Instagram of like selfies and stuff, and just of them, and I just wanted to share a different perspective on Instagram. Like I would save the other photos for Facebook, and slowly but surely my photos started getting better, and other accounts would share my photos on Instagram.
That's
and
cool.
so I started growing because I was into photography. I wasn't even a Christian when I started like getting into social media. And so I started getting this little bit of a following. It would grow. It actually led to me working with some brands, like some clothing brands wanted me to take photos for them, which then led to them posting my photos. So it just kept snowballing.
That's
in
cool.
that way, like kind of, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was a thing. So my Instagram started growing like that. And then I accepted Jesus and went into full-time ministry went into full-time ministry about a year and a half ago. And during that time, I started writing weekly messages for our community of young adults. I'm a young adult pastor in Tennessee. And I was like, you know what, this might be encouraging. I'm spending all this time like writing these messages. Why don't I share it on social media?
Let me ask you this: when you started when you got into it, how big was your group?
I had we started with 12 people in our young adult group, and started with 12 people a year ago is when we launched, about 14 months ago, and right now we run between 400 and 600 young adults on a Thursday night weekly gathering.
That's amazing.
And so really a large part of our growth process was through social media. So this time last year on social media, on Twitter rather, I had a couple hundred followers on Twitter, and right now it's closer to 30,000.
It's like 27.6. I checked.
Yeah. And it's been crazy because I just wanted to encourage people, and that was the whole motivation behind it. But Twitter, the retweet button, people share it and their friends see it, and so it just took off.
By encouraging, talk through just as you're going practically what that looks like when you say, like, I think people, you can get in with Twitter, like length and how much and whatever, and should you always include photos and all that stuff. Just kind of give maybe some practical like Twitter tips, like how you when we've talked about this a little bit, but kind of what you talked about focus, keeping it focused on what you're talking about, obviously encouraging people. You have a heart for people. It's part of your ministry, which I think it should be, as pastors or just as Christian leaders. But talk about just kind of, maybe some simple, how long, how short, how often, kind of that thing real fast.
So on Twitter, I think there are 2 really good times to post. Like one's during lunch, and then the other is between 8 and 10 o'clock at night. And so I post twice a day on Twitter. The length I don't care about as much, although the shorter typically the better, the more compact you can make your thoughts. And really, I would just go through my messages and kind of pick out a thought and try to make it clear, something encouraging, something that was life-giving, that I could put on Twitter, and hopefully would be a word that someone would just be scrolling through social media and be able to hold on to and be like, man, I needed to read that today. That was a reminder of God's goodness. That was a reminder of God's faithfulness. Or maybe just like a thought that I pulled out of a text and kind of gave some insight into that text and how it applied to my life. Maybe it applies with yours. And people loved it because people are craving the Word of God, and it was just as simple as that. And so that opened up an avenue as my personal Twitter began to grow. Also, our ministry's Twitter began to grow through that, because we would, I've got our ministry in the bio, and I'm retweeting our ministry stuff,
which is key. I think a pet peeve of mine is like, I think if you are a pastor, or if you are, you feel called to a church and help build, man, give your church a shout out. Put the whether it's the website or just even the handle or where you serve at. I think honestly, as a pastor, I think it's important. I think as a volunteer, or if you're a servant leader, man, when I see people, students or volunteers or whatever, that they have our church, but like church, whatever, even if it's a hashtag we're talking about, or their handle, like that is a huge, like, okay, they're in.
Fires me up.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like, okay, you're taking ownership of that, and it I don't know, I love seeing that. When I see people, I'm like, okay, they got it. So it's a good thing to do that.
So good.
And have a good bio, please. Don't just do random stuff. I don't know, I get when somebody does some random quote and that's it, and I'm like, who are you?
Or it's like 17 descriptions of themselves: dreamer, doer, wild one,
beach
you know
walker.
What I'm saying? It's like 17 of them. It's okay if you do like 3 or 4.
Vegan.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a vegan.
I love it. If you do that, no offense.
But my question is, if you're a vegan, you do CrossFit, and you're a Christian, what do you tell people first? It's a conundrum. All right, let's keep going.
Oh man, I love you.
Okay, so Twitter, give some length, encouragement, focus, and you were talking about you had your ministries handling your bios. They're both growing together.
I think just a tip for someone who is serious about growing on any platform, but particularly Twitter, since we're talking about Twitter right now. The more you can focus your attention on one lane. Like I met with a youth pastor one time who's like, man, I would really love to grow my social media following. I love how you use yours. Like, what would be your tips? And I said, hey, be consistent, be encouraging, kind of told him what we just talked about. And the next day I saw him tweet, a photo of him and his wife and like their dog. And then he tweeted like an encouraging tweet. And then there was something about how they needed to fire the head coach of the Mets. And I was just like, okay, like the only people who are really going to look at your page and care about what you have to say are people that you know in real life.
Yeah.
And if that's the people you want to reach through your social media, that's totally cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to grow and reach other people, you have to give them a reason to want to follow you. And you do that by being consistent and picking a lane. And so I really think your growth is attached to how consistent and how focused you can be through your social media.
That's good. So that's Twitter. Is there anything else you want to mention? I mean, the fact that I love that even for people watching, you started with 12 people, even just as a pastor and a leader feeling that call. And you just got to start small, and have a vision for where you're at, and just put stuff out. I love, especially because how many people are in Cleveland, Tennessee?
Oh man, that's a great question. I would say probably like 45,000. Like
that's a pretty
maybe
huge
50.
place.
It's not a massive city. It's about 25 minutes from Chattanooga, so Chattanooga's bigger. There's a college that's really close to where our service is that has about 6,000 students. And so the majority of our ministry is made up of those college students, but we're trying to. There's so many other people our age that live in our city that we're actively trying to reach, not just those college students. But
so let's talk about this. Some practical strategies or some tips within a ministry, a church ministry. Maybe you're a youth pastor. Maybe you're in the team. You've been handed over social media. You just want to start. Let's talk about some tips on maybe how to get a team together, starting from scratch, what you can do, basic level, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah. So the first thing, in my opinion, that's so important, that we talked earlier about the algorithm that social media has now, and it's on every platform. But basically, if you don't know how it works, Instagram 2 years ago, if you posted a photo and you got 100 followers, all 100 followers that you have would see that photo.
Yeah.
Not anymore. So you could post a photo and only half your followers might see the photo. And the way that Instagram decides who's going to see that photo, they have this magic number. Nobody knows what it is exactly, but for the sake of this conversation, let's say the magic number is 50. So out of the first 100 people that have a chance to see your photo, if you get 50 of them to like the photo, it notifies Instagram, this photo is a good photo. They hit this magic number. And so they're then going to show that photo to all your followers. So that means that you're probably going to get more likes, more interaction because you hit that number. So because of that, something that we did from the beginning is we got a team together and we said, hey, this is going to be a social media team. And every time we post, we're going to have a group text or a group me, a Slack, however you communicate with your team.
Basecamp.
And every time we make a post, you're going to be notified, and we expect you to like and share it. This is helping our mission, and you're going to help us reach that magic number. And what we saw is our interaction for the size of our Instagram account that we had just started was doing amazing, because all of our followers were seeing it, but we were also hitting the magic number that's above the normal magic number, which says this is a really good photo. We're going to put this on the discover page, the explore page, so people who aren't following you are going to see it. And that's kind of where we saw a lot of growth, a lot of new faces seeing our stuff, coming into our services and saying, yeah, this is my first time here. How'd you hear about the gathering? We saw it on social media. And we're like, what? And so we did a conference this past year, and we were hoping, man, let's get 300 people at our conference. And we ended up having 1,100 people. And there was like 18 states represented. And we're like, how in the world are you coming to Little Cleveland, Tennessee? And they're like, we follow your social media.
That's
and
crazy.
We're just like, wow.
Real quick, why don't you go ahead and shamelessly plug the ministries and then yours as well, so that you guys can give. Because I think sometimes too, for me, I wouldn't say I'm creative. I know I can tell I know it looks good, whatever. But I'm not a creative. I don't do photography. I don't, for me, it's like if I can see something, I go, okay, that's what I like, I'm going to replicate that. So I think sometimes you just need to find another ministry, church, brand, and just start ripping off what they do. Because I think the key is too, I like what you said about getting your team together, allowing them to like, comment, share, whatever. But here's another thing: is you need to keep the content's got to be good. Give vision. Hey, we're doing this because we want to reach more people. We want to bring people in the church. But also, when you're posting, make sure that they are good photos, good videos, good quotes. Not just constantly information. Because people want. I always my thought is with our team is, does it add value at some length?
That's so good.
So is it encouraging? Then give the information. And not just here's some information. It's like, hey, what are you adding value? Are you encouraging? Are you inspiring? Is it funny? Add value in your content, and then even your team, they're like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, I'll like that, share that, send that to me. So keep going. Sorry.
No, that's so good. Because for me, like, I'm not super creative either. Like, I feel like I'm decent at seeing how we can fix things and how we can build things, but we ran with that plan of like, let's get the team together, like, let's be active. And then from that team, we identified some people who were better in creating,
which is leadership,
and handed it off, and we're like, run with this. But our social media is at The Gathering with 2 G's on the end of gathering, and you can check it out on Instagram, Twitter. I think we're definitely on iTunes for podcasts too. And then my Instagram and Twitter is at Noah Herrin, Herrin.
And then we'll put it in the description and make sure we do some kind of pop-up or something so you guys know, so you don't whatever. So that's awesome. As far as the team thing, and honestly, he mentioned that, and we actually started doing that as a church, and especially with Facebook, and it helps so much. Especially because the fact with Facebook you can share and you can repost and send to groups, and we've seen our church's page like double in just a few months, and that's simply just our church people, volunteers. We have a couple things. We have a text app called Clearstream, and then we have a photo app called SmugMug. And SmugMug's what we use to get our photos out to our teams, organize graphics, and then Clearstream we just have an automatic weekly where it says, hey, we got new photos, new graphics.
Yeah.
Post it, team, and then turn on that notification.
It's killer.
Like,
easy,
share, post, tweet,
done.
Pinterest. I don't know. Let's talk about Pinterest. No one's talking about Pinterest.
What are you pinning lately?
I don't. Right, it's usually house stuff. It's more personal, like design, or I randomly like in Dream World, if I was a business I want like a branded like pin, notebook, binder, business card where it's all like, I don't know, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I get into weird stuff on. I like Pinterest.
I like dogs.
Do you?
Yeah.
I like food.
I like pinning dogs.
Food.
I'm trying to get married soon, so I like pinning like cool looking shoes for your
for sure
for your tux.
Oh, for sure.
Like I don't want to be a guy who wears like dress shoes. I want to wear like some nice like Jordan 1 like crazy like customs
for sure
on my wedding day. Yeah.
I love Pinterest.
You only get to do it one time. Like I can wear wedding shoes to all the other weddings. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
I'm down. I didn't do anything that cool.
I'm kind of shocked, honestly.
It was kind of. I mean, I did. It was everybody matched. I had my own suit. I had some purple in there.
Ooh.
Had some purple gold. That was like 10 years ago. That was a different guy back then. We should talk about that Pinterest. How to get big on Pinterest. Where's those people?
I have one board on Pinterest.
You know how many blogs I've read on social media, and not one of them's like, let's dominate Pinterest.
And Pinterest.
What's up, Pinterest?
My friend Morgan Harper Collins.
She was here this
summer. She is huge on Pinterest, and
she does the quotes.
Yeah, she like does the quotes with like art, and she's a crazy.
Which is
awesome
so funny because
artist.
it's like, we would say like with our team, don't like if it's a graphic, don't post it a lot. And she really does. She creates this art, and that's all it is. But it's amazing.
It gets shared a ton.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The reason hers works is because it's shareable. Like,
true.
If you post a graphic and it's like not that good or not shareable.
Again, but her content's great.
Yeah.
The art's great. The quotes are great.
And it's original.
That's the issue. Yeah, it's original.
Yeah.
I mean, content is king. If it's not good, no one's gonna want to like it anyway, no matter how much you force them.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the team stuff, and we'll kind of wrap up. And then we did do a talk that you can check out on yaresource.org as far as social media, and had some other practical stuff. And then if you have questions, man, let us know. We're always learning. Honestly, for me, it's like I even said some stuff. He's like, yeah, I don't think that's right. I'm like, I'm reading some, I have a blog that I read, Latergram, and then Sprout, and then there's a couple more that I kind of subscribe to that kind of, I feel like, new algorithm comes out. I'm like, here we go.
It's trial and error, man.
It really is.
You got to figure out.
I think that's too, is you got to look at the analytics and see what's working, what your people are liking, what they're commenting,
Here's a prime example. So I'm dating a girl named Maddie Perry. Shout out to Maddie
What's up,
Perry
girl?
if she's listening. But I'm dating her, and she's so much more attractive than I am, and like my followers, they love her. So like on Instagram, let's say on a typical post, I probably get around like 2,000 likes or something. Well, I could just post like that could be like a really good photo of me like preaching with like my arm out, like that would be like a banging photo. But I post like a iPhone selfie like in the dark with like
front screen
Valencia edit of me and Maddie, and it'll get like 5,000 likes. And it's just like, because different people, like it hit that magic number, and people like that content because it's a lot better than this content. You know what I'm saying? Like content is better than this content. And so it's crazy. Like you can go through your posts and you can look, okay, like this graphic did really bad. I probably should stop posting graphics. Like, but this photo of my team members like posted up, like swagged out, and our church merch did awesome. I probably should post more of that.
Yeah, and I think the reality is you can put the info in the language. Keep the photo or funny or whatever, and put, if you need to put. I mean, we usually try to like put some kind of quote or something, and then you're right below it. Then put, hey, join us or whatever that is. So it's just not some graphic. It's like service tonight at 7. It's like, it's not really gonna work. Real quick, I do want to mention this. Just someone asked it today in the session. As far as public private, if it's your churches, I would recommend doing a public or business page, because it allows you to do a few more things, and you can look at the analytics, and then you can also, if you want to get into ads and setting up a pixel, running different drip ads and all that stuff, which is a whole nother ball game, which we might get into some other time. We had someone ask about that. And that's a whole nother world that I know enough to get me in trouble. But there are some ways I think effectively, and I see a lot of people doing it, because I'll be on Instagram and it's like, Connect Church.
Sponsored.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm like, oh cool, a new church in town. And it's like, Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm like, all you gotta do is go in and
They're
at
spending
least
some
add
money on that.
Yeah, at least add the location.
Yeah.
Like don't like.
Yeah.
You're not gonna draw people like
Basic
I don't know.
stuff.
Anyways, what else?
Yeah, I think business profiles for ministries are awesome, specifically for the analytics. That's worth it alone, because it's going to tell you when your followers are most active, what days they're most active.
Yep.
It's going to tell you where your interaction is coming from. Is it local? Is it far away? Like, is your next campus need to be video?
Good.
You know,
That's good.
you can literally learn all that just from simply, and it's free to have a business account on Instagram. So that's a huge tip.
That's cool. Anything else as far as just kind of like church team stuff? And then I wanna wrap it up with some practical, like just some apps maybe you use, some of the ones we use. And again, there's so much out there. You just got to figure out what you can use, what you can figure out, and what works for you, and just stick with it. And in the reality is there's always something better. So it's like with social media, I'm always even like, I'm going to talk about something, but I'm always like, what do you do? Because you just never, I just feel like you never know.
Well, there's always new stuff too.
It's crazy.
You constantly have to. You want to just jump into that?
Yeah. Why don't you go first? So let's talk like top 2 or like, I don't know, 3 or 4, 5, whatever, editing, like photo, kind of what you guys go to.
So we use the just Adobe Creative Suite, which is what I think a lot of people are using, just because it has so many different types of apps inside of it. If you're a student, it's only $20 a month for all of them. You can have access to every Adobe product. So that's Adobe Lightroom for photo editing, Adobe Photoshop for photo editing, and some other stuff.
And I think they have I think they do like nonprofit discounts too, because I know we use it for our church. And they actually have the app's in beta, or it's like a small, like are you talking about, it's a phone app, right? Yours is?
Oh, they have a phone app too.
I think they just released it, because I know some of our team were talking about it. So keep going.
Yeah, so you can do it for desktop, or you can do it on your phone too. I think the desktop, you can do a lot more on your desktop, but it's nice to have it on your phone too. You can actually, I have my presets or filters saved to my phone, so if I take a photo with my phone, I can edit it on my phone. I don't have to go get my laptop or any of that stuff. But we use Adobe. It's cheap, it's professional, it's super good. But we also use some really good phone editing apps. We use, it's made by Google. It is called Snapseed. It's called Snapseed. Little green like leaf thing. Great editing.
I'll have to look that one up. I don't think we use that one.
ViscoCam is a big one that a lot of people know about.
I like that one because I actually bought the whatever Premiere. It's not that. It's like $10 a year or one-time purchase.
Oh, for all the
filters? Which is way too much, because I'm like, dear God, I'm not gonna spend this much time. But I found a couple. I spent some time up front finding a couple I like. Yeah. And also, I've just researched what other people commonly use, and you can save like the presets. Yep. So usually I think I have like 5 right now, and that way, depending on the light and where I'm at, I can just go okay, yeah, and you can resize it for can in Visco you can resize for story, you can do wide, which is another thing with Instagram main posts. I always my thought is you want as wide as it'll go, because you fill up the screen on your phone. So when you have the really wide shot, it's really small, but if you do a full one, it'll fill up your
vertical.
Vertical. And you can do that in this app. You can change the whatever and all that stuff. So Visco, keep going.
Visco's great. I'm trying to think. There's a video app called Cut Story that's good for like Instagram stories and stuff like that.
And that automatically takes it and puts it into the 15 seconds. So if you have a clip of something and it's too long, it'll automatically do the 15 seconds and it does some other stuff. But
that's amazing, because let's face it, we in ministry, we love to talk, so we're very rarely under 15 seconds. So it's pretty useful, especially for me. I think those are the ones I mostly use personally. Our team has more, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go through. So Visco, we have one. It's called Glitch or Glitch, and it has all these cool like the VHS filter stuff.
I've seen that.
So our team does. They've found some really cool ones. They do that one. Canva is another one. Visco. I'm trying to think. There's a whole. We have a team that I've basically just told them find every good one they have, and you can just look them up. I mean, usually when you search them, there'll be other recommendations, and go through and just even play with them, figure out what you like. The glitch one is pretty cool.
Pretty fire.
Like it's like you can make some cool stuff. But it's some of them, for me, some of them are pretty complicated. Like I'm like but Apple, they came out with it's called Clips.
Okay.
It's an Apple one, and you can edit like short videos, and you can do like intros, and you can add music to it.
Wow.
So you can do like little photo editing in a phone app. And then there's another one that we use, but we can drop some more. We can put a list. I've got a list from our team. Yeah, DM us, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll put some contact information. Please email us. We're not too busy. We're just normal people who are obsessed with social media. He's really good at it. I'm just trying to figure it out. And just want to help people build teams, build your church, and keep doing what you're doing. And I just want to encourage someone, just start whatever it is, and just be consistent. And I think that God will use that, and I think He can use it. I'm excited. I think social media is going to be continue to be a massive thing. Absolutely. And I think we're just seeing the beginning of even the church really utilizing it in a great way. And I think we have to own it. I think we can't shy away from it. And it has its downfalls, but I think it also has its benefits. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon, talk to you soon, and love you guys.
Follow Chandler Boyce.
Chandler D. Boyce.
Ha! That was fun, man.